The most commonly injured body part is the hand, accounting for over 1 million trips to the emergency room each year. Most hand injuries result in cuts, bruises, and broken bones. During mainline pipeline construction, these injuries are typically caused by falling objects, handling sharp objects, pinch points, and rotating equipment. Fortunately, hand injuries are preventable with strong awareness of hazards, control of the energy, and the right gloves for the job. To demonstrate the causes and consequences of common hand injuries, industry professionals and university researchers partnered to create live safety demonstrations. Super realistic replicas of human hands were created and injuries were simulated to provide workers with the experience of witnessing an injury without actual harm. Using principles from medicine and special effects, the hands were created with flesh that can be cut, veins that bleed, and bones that break. The injuries that you see in these demonstrations can and have happened. The Smasher demo was created to simulate a typical wooden pipeline skid that falls and strikes a worker across the fingers. The resulting pressure of a 45-pound skid falling from 1.5 feet is about 180 psi, which is equivalent to being struck by the world record slap shot or having your hand run over by a Ford F-150. When this injury occurs, it is not surprising that we see a tremendous amount of energy passed into the hand. However, impact-resistant gloves will reduce the exposure to about 1/50th of the original pressure. Although an injury may still result, this protection could reduce the severity of the injury tremendously. In addition to the correct glove, we must remember that our first lines of defense are to identify and design barriers around the energy, keep our hands out of the line of fire, and exercise caution when manually handling very heavy objects like wooden skids. The slicer demo features a hand cut by a sharp object. Pipeline and facility work often require cutting and transporting materials and working with sharp edges and scrap. Common injuries occur when using open blades or when someone grips or pulls sharp materials, like steel pipe cut shavings. The demonstration shows how sharp these objects are, how easily a bare hand can be cut, and how ineffective the wrong gloves can be. For example, handling an ultra-thin steel pipe shaving results in up to 16,000 psi of pressure, equivalent to the maximum pressure in the chamber of a shotgun. The slicer demo requires a force similar to a firm handshake. As the operator presses on the handle, the slicer glides across the hand, causing a serious but realistic injury. As you can see, with just moderate pressure, a sharp steel object can cut a hand like butter. Unfortunately, leather gloves are not effective at protecting against a sharp object. We only have sufficient protection from gloves with the proper cut resistance. When sharp objects contact the cut-resistant gloves, the material is strong enough to resist most cutting forces. Although it is never good practice to handle or pull sharp objects, these gloves will provide significant protection against accidental contact. When hand injuries occur, it can affect work and family life for months or years. Remember, hand injuries are preventable. Let's not let one happen on our watch. Be mindful and aware. Identify and communicate hazards. Consider the what-ifs. Control the line of fire and wear proper gloves.